All right, let's see if the volume. Oh, good. I could hear it.
I was prepared. Well, hey, weirdos. It's me, Dan.
And Jake, his brother.
Brother
different.
Jay.
Every intro is different.
You never know what you're going to get. It's like life is like a box of dog shit covered chocolate.
You might think they're chocolates. Yeah, wait.
Maybe.
Dog shit covered chocolate, so it wouldn't fool anybody. It's chocolate covered dog shit.
Chocolate covered dog shit. Maybe you'll get the orange cream. Maybe you'll get a nugget.
The dog turd. Yes, the way to pull that off is just to put one turd covered in chocolate in the box.
Yeah, like box of chocolate roulette.
You know, it's funny. I think maybe I'm turned up too loud. I don't know. Anyway,
Doesn't matter anymore.
I'm not going to mess with it. Speaking of chocolate, so my favorite chocolate when I was a kid was the cherry chocolate. I don't know. Everybody else hates them, and I was like, man,
the balls.
If I could just buy just cherry chocolates, that's what I would get. It's the chocolate with it's got a maraschino cherry, and then that like creamy cherry flavored, basically wet frosting sugar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was good. Man,
Like high fructose corn syrup.
High fructose corn syrup. That's what it is.
And cherry flavored. Yep. Well, I don't know when the last time we actually did a podcast was.
It's been about 2 weeks. We were going to do one last weekend, and then we were off in our timing by about an hour. And then you were like, well, I can do next Friday.
Yeah. Well, the irony is that I could have done it earlier, really, because I've been, again, in quarantine because Alice had look, she had all the classic signs of COVID.
Oh, God.
So, it started as gastro, and we're like, oh, it's gastro. And I kept working. And then I came home from work, and one of her eyes was bright red. And I was like, oh. She's like, oh, my throat's really sore. And I was like, oh.
Did everybody get it, or just her?
Just her thus far. And then the next morning, both eyes were really, really bloodshot. And
conjunctivitis.
She was coughing, and her throat was all sore and swollen. And I was like, oh, that's not good. So I canceled all of my work stuff because I was like, I go out and I talk to people in the public. So I was like, I can't do that ethically. So I called and canceled all my things. So I had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I was just working from home again. Alice got the COVID test and it was negative, but.
Oh, there you go. I don't understand how does a kid even get gastro these days? How do you get it? How do you even get a cold? I haven't been sick
I know,
since
it's so
February.
Unfair because this kid, she's the responsible one. Elijah, gets dog turds on his hand and he's like, oh, I'm hungry. I'm going to eat a sandwich and not wash them.
Yeah.
But, he comes home and it's just grub. He's got dirt.
Yeah.
You can see the dirt on his hands.
Yeah.
And Alice is like, Dad, don't worry. I sanitized my hands and I washed them and blah, blah, blah before eating. And I was like, how on earth did you get this? So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Were other kids sick? Is she in school right now?
Well, we took her out. She had the whole week off.
Oh, my gosh. Were other kids in the class out, too?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. But, yeah, she's all better now. And so Aaron doesn't feel well now. So
oh no.
That's the thing though. Aaron will still have to get COVID tested, even though we know that it's probably just like a common cold or something because Alice was negative. But you don't want to risk it.
If you have the gastro, if Aaron's got gastro, that's not the common cold.
No, she doesn't have gastro. She just feels
that
like
could
crap.
be worse.
Yeah.
Well, if it also could be COVID. About 1 in every 4 tests are negative. even though
Well, I know, but here there's
it's a false negative.
I don't know how many millions of people live in Queensland, but there's 9 cases. All of them are in quarantine currently.
9 that you know about.
I know. No, but they're pretty good with the testing here. So
I think we've got 6 or 7 here in New Brunswick, but it's a pretty good place to be at the moment.
Yeah, it's the place to be. What's the thing on the license plate? ...
in this place.
Oh. How do you say
so
that in
everybody's
French?
license plate. So New Hampshire, live free or die. Brilliant. Love it.
Live free or die?
That's the yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
What's the main license plate say? Do you remember offhand?
Lobster's ear.
It is a picture of a lobster. It used to be.
Yeah. Get you claw in here.
claw your way into Maine. It used to be
tails?
Vacation Land. I think it is Vacation Land.
Vacation Land. No, that's because we went.
Pardon me.
Gracious.
Sorry.
We went to Storybook Land, and that's where we crashed the Audi, the only nice car we ever had.
Oh man, that sucked. So yeah, when we were kids, I'll just elaborate on this a bit. My Uncle Bob, our Uncle Bob, had a Audi 5000 Turbo. It's quite funny. So it was a great
just
car.
So you know, this is where the term Audi 5000, I'm Audi 5000,
comes from.
comes from. The car.
So it was a great car, and he changed cars every 3 years, and Dad was like, I'm buying that car. I don't care what else happens. We had Honda Preludes and Honda Accords our whole life.
Yeah.
And so the Bob decided to trade it in, and Dad said, no, I want to buy it from you. And he'd saved up for about 3 years to buy it used, and he paid him like premium price. And he loved the car. It was fast. It was like a sexy car. And he drove it quite fast. But we went down to the States to go to Santa's Village and Storyland. When we were, I think we were coming out of Santa's Village. Maybe it was Storyland. Doesn't matter. Irrelevant to the point of the story. We got in this traffic jam. And for whatever reason, Dad accelerated really hard into the back of the car in front of us and totaled the Audi 5000 Turbo. And
the crumple system activated, and it just turned into like a shoebox.
It just like crushed the whole front of the car in. Yeah. And Dan, you were lying on the back seat. You were lying across Mom and I with no seatbelt on, and when he crashed, you rolled onto the floor. And Dad and I started crying. I was really upset because I knew how much Dad loved the car, and he said, don't worry, it's not a big deal, it was just a bump. And I got out of the car and I looked on the ground, and the Audi symbol was on the ground. Like the grill had broken off the car, and I was like, it's not just a bump.
You know why he accelerated? And
because that's
he had his little paintbrush, and he was dusting the little vents while we were in, the traffic jam. And this guy pulled out while we were like passing something, and he smashed into him.
Yeah, it was a really, really sad day for all of us. So he totaled the car. It was just a complete write-off. But about 25 years later, there was a recall on Audi 5000 turbos. And the recall was that they had unexpected acceleration from stopping. And a ton of people had driven through the back wall of their garage. And there were like multiple deaths. So I always wondered afterwards, had he slowed down and then the car took off and he thought he was at fault, but it just did it on its own? Or was it really that he was, because he was so meticulous about it. He was like always huffing on the window and then wiping it down so there were no fingerprints on the window. Well, was he just distracted by his cleaning routine?
I've got this new, it's really not. It's a 2012 Volkswagen Golf. Yeah. But it's probably the nicest car that we've ever owned.
Volkswagen Golf's a nice car.
I'll be completely honest. It's like a white station wagon. So it's nothing hugely fancy. But it's a nice car for me, and it's it ticked the boxes, as in it had Bluetooth, because I was so sick of trying to connect my phone via those little radio frequency things. So I'm really pleased with it, but I am turning into dad in terms of how meticulous I am about keeping it clean on the inside. And I'm brushing it down. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm turning into my father. I don't know. Have we? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say when we moved to Vancouver, we moved on an airplane with one bag each, right, Chrissy and I, and it was the day after we got married. So we showed up and I realized I thought that I could get on the Canada train or the Canada line, the train, it's like a subway basically in Vancouver.
Yeah.
I thought I could go to my work, but I didn't realize I had two different hospitals I had to service, and one of them was like 30 kilometers away. So I said, oh my God, I need a fucking car. So we, in a hurry, like it was 2 days before I started work, and then I didn't have vacation until Christmas. And we said we're going to go buy a car, and we went to the dealerships. They're all in this one area, and we literally just walked dealership to dealership looking for something under $15,000 to buy. And what we got was a 2006 Volkswagen Jetta, and it was a nice car. It had a leather interior. It was black with like tan leather interior.
I don't remember you having it. Did you ever bring it?
There's a reason you don't remember it. Yeah. Oh. So it was. I was like, man, this is a pretty good deal. This was in 2011, and I was buying or 2010 even maybe, and I was buying a 2006 car, so it wasn't that old. But then we bought it, and the guy got us to sign, like, you know how you sign all this paperwork at the time when you're buying a car.
Yeah.
And he never told us that the car had been in like 35 car accidents, owned by, I don't want to say it, but like this new Asian driver. Oh. He'd curbed the car about 40 times. He'd hit other cars. He'd been arrested.
Oh my.
Basically everything but writing it off. So when it came time to move, we were moving home. So from Vancouver to New Brunswick, we had to move across the country. I said, I don't want this car. I don't want to be driving this across the country, because if it breaks down in the middle of fucking Ontario in the backwoods, there's no way we're going to get it fixed. And I traded it in for a Volkswagen Phaeton that had been owned by William Shatner.
I know. I like that car.
That car is great. So the Volkswagen Phaeton is basically a Bentley, but with a Volkswagen badge, and it too was $13,000. It was great.
It's because it wasn't actually owned by William Shatner. It's just that someone Shatner.
It's just someone Shatner.
Well, I've had quite an eventful time since we have podcasted last.
Yeah, I didn't do any research this week. I was going to do Travis the Chimp, if you remember, and then I was like, oh, I've been hearing Dan's stories. We're not gonna get any further than that.
Well, so I guess a couple of weeks ago now, I went for a horseback ride with Alice, and Aaron tacked up the horse for me, and this horse is new to us and young, but small.
And not used to bigger gentlemen riding.
Not used to like fat guys riding her. So we went out and we were having a great time. We rode for about an hour and a half. And the only problem with this horse is that she's really attached to Alice's horse. They're actually siblings.
Okay.
So we were riding, and we were about maybe 3 minutes away from home. We were on like the last, like you could see the house. And Alice decided that she wanted to have one more little canter up the road. And I'm going to tell you, the area between my thighs after this ride is literally black and blue from cantering and trotting on this horse, and my thighs smacking into the hard leather saddle.
Yeah.
Like I was
clap
hurting.
of thunder.
Yes. So Alice took off, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sit this one out. But my horse didn't like that idea and was like, no, we're going to canter, and started to go. And I was like, no, 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 Daddy's sore. Yeah. So I pulled back on the reins, but she was all worked up and she reared. And I was like, "Oh, whoa, girl!"
So that's when the two front hooves come off the ground. It's like a wheelie,
two front hooves come
wheelie.
Off the ground, and then because I'm a chunky monkey, when she went back down, she buckled and she knuckled onto the ground, and then she freaked out even more and jumped up and reared again, but kicked out at the same time. So all legs off the ground.
Yeah, like a bucking bronco.
Yeah, and by then I was like, I'm not going to stick onto this one.
Bail. I'm going to bail.
No, I didn't even have time to think I'm going to bail. I was just off.
You were in the air.
But I think I came
But
off.
You don't have Western saddles either. You don't have the horn in the middle. So you're riding the saddle with nothing to hold on to.
I had a horn. This was like an adult saddle. I had a horn on this one. And I think the horn got me under the ribs. And that flipped me from going forwards onto my face to flipping backwards onto my back. So then there was quite a bit of velocity involved with this.
Ragdoll physics.
Yeah, it was like Apollo 13 using the moon's gravitational force to slingshot. I was slingshotted onto my back like a clothesline from Hulk Hogan. And I was like, I sounded exactly like the grape lady. The horse bolted. She was off.
Oh, no.
And I was
I can't breathe.
I couldn't stop. I was like, stop making this noise in my head. But all that would come out was, oh. And Erin heard me. She goes, what? Oh. And she comes running. And I'm on the ground and in intense pain. But my arm felt kind of funny and my legs were all pins and needles. And I was like, this has got to be bad.
You thought you had a spinal injury.
I thought I had a spinal injury, but when I kind of assessed myself, I was like, no, my legs have been bent for an hour and a half. I think this is just a blood supply issue. So I kind of rolled onto my back and was like, don't move. And I was like, I gotta get back on the horse. So I was a little bit in shock. So I got up and I walked over and I went to grab the reins with my left arm and Erin was holding it. She was like, you don't have to do this. And I was like, I got to. And I went to grab the reins and I was like, nope, my arm's broken. I'm going home. I could feel it, like the bones grinding together when I tried to lift my arm up. And I was like, nope, gotta go home. So I walk up to the house and I'm wearing like a sweatshirt and my favorite t-shirt of all time made of bamboo. Yeah. And I walk up and Alice is crying and I was just like, I just gotta sit down. It's starting to hurt quite a bit now. I took some Tylenol and I tried to sit down. I was like, oh, it hurts too much to sit. Okay, I'm gonna stand. So I stood around for a while and Erin finally came in. I was like, please, I got Elijah to go out and I said, can you get Mummy to call an ambulance? Can
you get Mummy to call the paramedic that we're so familiar with, please?
Yes, our friend Robin, the paramedic. And because I was like, I just need the green whistle. Like, I know this is
You needed painful. What Elijah got the other day.
Well, he got fentanyl up his nose. No, I think the green whistle, I don't know what it is. It's I've never had it before, but I was like, this is the time that I need it because something is very broken. And I was like, go get Mummy. And Erin was like, he wants me to call an ambulance? I was like, yeah, I want you to call a fucking ambulance. Just call them. Anyway, Erin called them and they were like, we're going to be a while. If you can, just drive in. And I was like, fuck. What if this was a spinal injury? But Erin cut off my my sweatshirt off my body, and I couldn't lift my arm up at all.
She wanted to give you the experience, even though you couldn't get an ambulance. She was like, "I'll cut your clothes off for you."
Yeah. And
would that make you feel better, dear?
But I couldn't lift my arm up to get the little shroud of broken sweatshirt from under my arm, so she just left it there. And then we were driving to the hospital, and I was like, "Oh man, this hurt." Actually, okay, I did a little gentleman's wash before I left as well, like priorities. Because the last time I went to hospital and I had to stay for a few days, I got a terrible infection of my dick.
Not from sticking it in somebody.
No.
You weren't on some weird floor.
No. the dick floor. No, It was just like,
dirty dicks. Just smegma. Infected smegma. Dirty dick. It was a dirty dick's day.
Because I was in there for 2 weeks. And I was like, it's not happening again.
Why didn't you shower when you were in there?
In the hospital? Yeah. I couldn't stand up.
What were you in there for 2 weeks? Oh,
viral meningitis.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was like, not this time. Not today, Satan. So I was like, I'm going to prioritize this. Whatever pain it is, it's worth it. So I did a quick gentleman's wash in the bathroom sink.
Yeah, with your unfortunately Gentile paraphernalia there.
And then I was like, okay, take me to the hospital. I'm ready.
Aaron, I can't do this. Can you retract my prepuce, please?
God.
Just put soap on it. No, this isn't. I'm not trying to come on to you. Just put soap in my prepuce. Get under the meatus, dear. Get under the meatus.
We drove to the hospital. We couldn't find a park. I'm wearing slippers and my beautiful bamboo
tenth of a
shirt.
sweatshirt.
Yes, and I walk in, and it was like, okay. You have to sign in, and I was like hunched over, pain, and they were like, "Oh, you need a doctor," and I was like, "Yeah, fuck, I do." They're like, "Okay,"
the ambulance wouldn't come
they
for
made
me.
me sit there, and they took all of my information. I'm sitting there, like tears streaming down my face, trying not to scream.
Yeah.
Occasionally, still screaming.
Yeah. Can you pretend I came in unconscious, please?
I know, because I was like, if I go in the ambulance, they will see me right away, and I won't have to wait. But no dice. But I didn't wait for very long, maybe 10 minutes.
But you didn't go in the ambulance. Yeah.
I didn't. No, Aaron drove me. So I was sitting there, and then they got the triage nurse in, and she was like, "Okay, what happened?" I was like, told her the whole story, and she was like, "Do you have any neck pain?" And I was like, "Yeah, a little bit. Like my whole body kind of hurts, but my neck is particularly
I had
sore."
pins and needles in my feet. Okay.
I didn't tell them that.
Yeah, you need to tell them that if you don't want to wait in the emergency room.
But so they put a neck brace on me immediately and wheeled me out, and then they proceeded to cut my beautiful bamboo shirt off, which was so sad. And this was before they gave me any pain relief, and they lowered me down onto the table by my shoulder. I was like, oh my God, it hurt so much. But I guess they were prioritizing my injuries. They probably thought I had a broken spine. So, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But then they did a CT. They eventually did give me some pain relief.
Yeah.
They did a CT. They gave me that contrast. And I've never had a weirder experience in my entire life.
It's pretty strange, isn't it?
Oh, have you had it before?
Yeah, it feels like you pissed your pants. It's because it's a vasodilator.
But it not only that, but it feels like I could feel it going through my system. So I could feel it hot on my arm, and then I could feel it going down my
out into your lungs, and then up and around your aorta, down into your legs.
Yeah. And it was bizarre. And
it also weighs a couple of pounds, that stuff. It's not light, right? It's made of iodine.
Oh, it was so bizarre. And then it just kind of settled in my ball sack. So,
yeah, well, it's in your bladder. That's what you're feeling. But.
Oh, it was. But I felt like I was radiating heat. Like,
yeah, for about a minute, right?
And then a minute, yeah. And then for probably about half an hour in my ball sack.
Now, afterwards, every time you peed, did it feel really sticky? Were you like, the pee is sticking to my pecker?
No.
Because that stuff is so sticky. And you just
it
pee it straight
like
out. It goes through your kidneys.
It's probably somewhere still in my abdomen. But yeah, that was really strange. And then they went to give me another bolus of morphine directly after.
Yeah.
And my catheter had blown. So I don't know what happens if that stuff goes subcat.
Well, that's what we do for for palliative patients, because they don't have you're not allowed to have an IV in palliative care. So they just stick it in your skin. Remember the old man?
No.
He had
I know.
subdermal.
But the iohexol, or whatever the contrast was.
The contrast went sub.
Yeah. So I was like, this is getting really painful. So like, I think I know why. And he tried to push it through still. He was like, there's not a lot of resistance. And I was like, there's a lot of subcutaneous tissue there. I'm rather large.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, no, it's totally tissued. And I was like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, I can feel it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So I didn't get any more IV drugs after that. And so then I stayed in a sling. They kept me in there overnight.
So what did the CT show?
I've got a broken scapula. And what's really funny is that I said to Aaron, I've broken my scapula at home before we went to the hospital. I said, I think I've broken my scapula. I'm pretty sure it's near the joint. I don't think it is near the joint. It's at the anterior pole or something of the scapula, but it fucking hurt. I think I also have done my rotator cuff, and I think I not broke a few ribs, but cracked a few ribs.
Yeah.
The other thing that they said was reproductive organs unremarkable. And I was like, fuck off. It's huge.
Yeah, but they've seen them all.
Maybe it's unremarkable compared to some. But
I've seen some pretty big ones. Did I tell you about when I was in medical school, we had to do physical exams on, as part of your training. They have these standardized patients, and they'll come in. So one of them is like how to do a...
Wait, so...
Yeah, these patients volunteer to have all the medical students line up and basically do a physical exam on them. So it might be examining for appendicitis or how to, anterior and posterior drawer signs in your knee or whatever.
Did they get paid?
But of course, there's prostate. Yeah, they get paid.
Yeah.
There's prostate and pap tests, and you have to learn how to do them. So I don't remember. This says a lot about me, probably more than it says about them. I don't remember the pap test one at all. I remember the prostate one because there was this guy who was, he looked like a junkie. I don't know if he was or not, but he was volunteering. And he had a dick, like 6 Coke cans tied together end to end all the way down his leg. And you had to do his testicular exam, and I had to move the dick out of the way. And it was like... It was like a 2-pound dick. Yeah, I could. The weight of it was like if I caught a bass that weighed as much as that guy's dick, I'd be very proud of it and take a picture.
Do you think he injected things into it? Like
I think it was just naturally that big, but that's why he volunteered. Hello, just one sec. Hi, Mom. I'm just doing a podcast with Dan.
Okay. Hi, Mom.
Jack loved the boat. Yeah. All right. Talk to you soon. Oh, well, I'll call you after. Okay. Dan says hi. Yeah. Okay. Love you. Bye. Yeah. Anyway.
You got a boat?
Yep. Got a boat.
Oh.
So it was.
Is it like a tinny?
Yeah. It's not a good boat. It's a small boat. But when you come, we're gonna go fishing in it. I bought a. It's a 14-foot aluminum fishing boat,
Nice.
But it's pretty good compared to now. Everything's fucking expensive with boats.
Why? Oh,
just the trailer. Like I bought a boat, a trailer, and a motor all in one package. And it's a 2018. It was leftover in Edmundston, which is like northern New Brunswick, and I live in southern New Brunswick. So yesterday, or 2 days ago, Bernie, who is Chrissy's stepdad, I guess, he sent me this Kijiji listing in Edmundston. He said, this is a great deal. And it was the boat, and it has like a live well in it or a cooler. You can use it for a cooler or whatever. And and the motor, 15 horsepower, 4-stroke, fuel-injected motor, and the trailer. And it was like $6,000. And I was like, fuck, I really don't want to spend that much money. But to be honest...
How big is the motor?
15 horsepower. It's not anything to write home about, right? But I thought
Can you water ski from behind it?
If you and I went, we could, but with like 4 people in the boat, you couldn't. Yeah.
Could you imagine how tinny?
Well, do you remember? I used to pull you around with the Zodiac on a 7.5 horsepower.
I know, but I was 13.
Yeah, you were 200 pounds less than you are now. So was I. Yeah, it's a pretty good boat and everything, but man, it's so many headaches, like even right from the get-go. So I drove to Edmundston. It's a 4-hour drive up.
Yeah.
Went to look at the boat, and they had already basically run everything through. I was financing it over a year. It was just like, so I went in and they were like, yeah, everything's ready to go. We got your plate on the trailer. Sign here.
What?
I said, man,
was it from a dealership?
Yeah. It was from a motorcycle dealership, but they had this boat. Anyway, and I've never driven a trailer. I've never driven anything with a trailer. And I've had to drive it from Edmundston to St. John. And like trying to figure out how to get gas and go through it's not that bad, but it's, it takes some thought. And then not cutting corners too sharp.
And backing
the thing up is brutal.
Like a boat the trailer would be like what, 15 feet?
No, the trailers, you can fit up to a 21-foot boat on the trailer. So it's a big trailer.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. The trailer's way bigger than the boat. But,
that'd be intimidating to me.
I don't know anything about boats. So I had to get my boat license. And to get the boat, I had to get the boat license. And I decided I was going to like maybe get this boat the night before I went to get it. So I stayed up until 2 a.m. doing an online boating course to learn the basics of boating. And then
red means right.
And then I challenged the boating exam, and I got red right returning. But it's bizarre. So the lights on the boat, green is starboard, and red is port. But the buoys, the green is the port side buoy, and the red is the starboard side buoy.
Oh yeah, that's stupid.
But it obviously depends on which direction you're going in the river. Anyway,
I know, but how do you know which direction you're going in the river?
Excellent question, and I still haven't figured that out. Just stay between the buoys, and you'll be fine.
Like it doesn't, like if you're returning, but I might live on a different side of the river.
This is straight. Returning means going upstream, but I don't know which way's upstream because the river's fucking huge and you can't tell which direction the current's going. It's enormous. So I said to Bernie, so upstream would be going towards Sussex, right? Because that's the head of the Kennebecasis. So that head means top, upstream. He said, no, that's downstream. I said, well, what about St. John? He said, no, that's downstream too. I said, no, both ends can't be downstream. So he obviously doesn't know either. Then, so yesterday, Bernie's so funny. Have you met him much? Like, have you hung out with him at all? He's really funny.
We don't hang.
So you'll like Bernie. Like, if we go fishing, we should probably take him. But so yesterday, he was so excited because he just sold his boat. His son convinced him to sell the boat. He was so pissed off, and then he had the instant regret. And so he said, "Oh, you got the boat, did you? Yeah. Well, let's go fishing." So took it up to the St. Croix River and went fishing all day yesterday. So literally, like 6.5 hours, I was on the river in 35 degrees Celsius heat. It was fucking scorching.
It would have to be insured, right? Because you could run into someone else's boat.
I've not insured it. I haven't done anything. I have not. I don't know if you need insurance or not. I don't know. I got to register it with the Department of Transportation. That's all I know. My
insurance is with you, God.
Yeah. So it it was like a big day on the boat. I'm fucking exhausted. So this morning I got up, I walked the dog, and I was like, oh, thank God, it's going to be a quiet day. And Bernie called. And he was like, I'm coming over to fix that trailer. It's a little bit off because the boat wasn't sitting straight on the trailers.
Yeah.
Okay, so we worked on the trailer for 2.5 hours, like fixing the struts on it or whatever. And then I said, oh my God, I'm so tired. He said, okay, I'll be back after supper and we'll take her for a run on the Kennebecases. I was like, okay, it's good. So I was so tired. And then we took it down to the Kennebecases River today, and I did okay. I'm terrible with the trailer. It's really hard for me to figure out which way to turn to straighten it up and stuff. But but we did get it launched. We took it upriver quite a ways. We were on for about 2 hours on the river, and it was just one thing after another. Like I hit a log.
Oh no!
Hit a log with the motor. I stalled it out. I didn't have the motor locked on. The motor almost fell off a couple times.
Oh no!
It was just like I'm so totally. It's not that. Well, it is that I'm incompetent, but it's also that I don't remember how boats work. But the one thing I did remember was that, like, to lock the motor up, you had to pull this tab upwards. And so I was showing Bernie, and he was like, no, they got that wrong. You got to put the tab downwards. I said, oh, okay. So we had it all locked up, and we were driving down to launch the boat in Hampton, and he hit this bump. He wanted to drive it around because I think he's like, he hit this bump, and I heard bang, and I was like, what the fuck was that? And then he hit another one. I heard bang, bang. I said, uh-oh. I said, Bernie, I think we better check. I think maybe one of my zip ties, my ratchet straps came off or something. So, okay. So we pulled over, and I got out. The motor had fallen off. Like, it was still attached to the boat, but it had fallen down and smashed the back of the boat. And so I've had this. It's a brand new boat. It's been in the water twice, and I've beaten the shit out of it. It's like now it takes on a bit of water. I probably loosened some rivets. I've torn up the trailer. I broke the brake light on the trailer.
Oh, what? Oh my God.
Well, it wasn't plugged in or anything. They say unplug it before you put it in the water, right? So I unplugged it and I put it in the water, but the brake light somehow filled with water, and then when we plugged it back in, it shorted out.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not good at boats, but it is. You know what? If we get to go fishing in it, it'll be worth it.
The boat that we had when growing up at the cottage. Sorry, my dog. I'm just going to go let it out. Talk amongst yourself.
Yeah. The boat's been it's been a bit of an adventure, and I'm not really a boat guy, but I felt very guilty about spending so much money on myself and none on my family. So I decided to do something family friendly, and that is why I bought the boat. And I'm not sure it was the right decision. Anyway,
I'm back. Dad's security system was to get a chain and put it through the handle of the boat and put it around a tree.
Yeah, that's right. So, we had a boat like that.
Yeah, it got stolen.
It did. I have no security on the boat right now. There's like just a motor. Somebody could just loosen it and walk away with it. It weighs 100 pounds, mind you. But it was funny. Bernie's about the same size as me. He's probably 240 pounds. And he and I were in the back of the boat because he was like, really into the engine stuff. And, what do you think of this? Try this, do this. So he and I were in the back, and Chrissy and Jack were in the front. And we went, like, going forward at any speed, the back of the boat sunk down so low that the engine was in the water.
Oh, jeez. Well, the outboard engine, we had a really nice, like a Yamaha. It was
a Mercury.
Yeah. Who makes Mercury?
Mercury.
Ford.
Mercury Marine. They're their own
must
company.
Be Ford, because Ford Mercury.
Yeah.
But we had a nice outboard motor, and Dad traded it for some of the basement to get finished.
Oh, that's right. I'll tell you, this engine, though, remember the old one, it was two-stroke, and you had to mix gas and oil and all that stuff?
Yeah.
And it was quite loud, right? Like when you started it.
Yeah.
This is a fuel-injected four-stroke engine, and when it's idling, you can't even hear it. It's unbelievable.
Oh, nice.
It's totally different.
Yeah, that would make that makes nice difference. Does
I'll
it have
probably-
an electric start?
No, I didn't get. That was another $1,000, so I said no.
Yeah.
Just do the full
Fuck
start.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not a. I mean, man, I always dreamed like for $6,000 you could buy like a really wicked yacht, but no, you can buy an aluminum fishing boat, and that's about it. I'm not going to be able to go around the Caribbean in it. It's
But it's still pretty flash hairy compared to some of the boats that I've seen at the cottage. Like, I've seen the guys that go fishing in a canoe that they've put an outboard motor on.
yeah. Although you know what, at the some of the fishing camps I've been to, that's all you can use because it's
With an outboard motor on it?
yeah.
I didn't know that you could motorize them. I thought that they were just being, crazy.
I'll send you a cool video from yesterday. So I caught yesterday when we were fishing. I caught a bass.
Old boot?
And I
Band-Aid.
caught a bass, and then a turtle caught the bass that I was reeling in. So I reeled in a turtle and a bass. This huge turtle. It was.
Did you eat the turtle?
No, I was afraid to bring it into the boat.
Bernie, help me!
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, Bernie, I got a turtle stuck on here. It's really strange. Send you that. Let me see if I can find a picture of the boat. There's a nice picture of Jack.
Some riveting podcasting going on at the moment.
Oh yeah, right. We're recording.
Oh, did you? Did you see that I remixed our opening sequence?
No.
What?
What's the remix?
Oh well, I'll put it on the end of this one. I won't play it through the thing. I'll actually stick it on.
Oh, did you put like
properly.
bass lines or drums in it?
Yeah.
Pew,
Yeah,
pew, pew, pew. Now, you know what I miss? I miss doing the ghost tour stuff. I miss you coming home.
I miss places.
Yeah.
I was seeing something other than my own yard. It's been really nice because, like I said, I travel for my work. So I've been going to the Sunshine Coast and to the Gold Coast, places out by Ipswich and stuff like that. So it's been really nice. And then when Alice got sick, I was like, fuck, I don't want to be home. I want to go places.
God, I'm a fat fuck. Jeez, just looking
same.
at these pictures now for the first time.
I've started on my man shake diet again today. I've set an alarm for every day to go off at 8 a.m. to say, don't fucking eat, you cunt.
Don't eat anything. I just had a Radler, which is like a terrible decision.
Well, no, what brought it on is that last night, Elijah went to BMX.
Yeah.
And I stayed home with Alice because she wasn't, 100% yet. So I stayed home with Alice, and I said, Alice, what do you want for dinner? And she's like, McDonald's. So we went to McDonald's, and I get this thing. It's a beef wrap. It's like got the lowest number of kilojoules in it. So I get the beef wrap, and then I was like, oh, look, I'll get a medium shaker fries. And they've got fries here that you put in a bag, and you put the stuff on it. It makes them taste like a fucking Big Mac.
Oh, wow.
So you shake it up, and they forgot my shaker fries, but they gave me 2 medium fries and two pies.
Oh, man.
So I was like, oh, bugger. I guess I'll eat them all anyway.
I guess I'll have all this. Yeah. I find it very hard to make a good decision these days.
Yeah.
I'm ridiculously fat. You'll see in the pictures, it looks like my shoulders are directly attached to my feet, like Grimace. The McDonald's
No,
commercials.
you're not. Oh, I like that it's blue on the top. That's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. A nice boat.
I was expecting it to be like, 1990s style.
Well, no, I splurged. I just said, what the hell? You only live once.
And it's got
The idea was, I got that kind because I figured I could maneuver it around, like it's small enough.
Oh, there is a big turtle attached to it. That is... That's bizarre. Oh my goodness.
You're hearing the voice of Bernie.
That's an occurrence. Was it freshwater? It must have been.
Yeah, freshwater. That was on the St. Croix River. And this is funny. I got my lure stuck in a tree.
In the middle of the ocean?
No, in the St. Croix River. Like, so it's getting narrow in parts, right? I was trying to cast into the banks. We were catching bass. And and so I got it stuck in a tree, and Bernie was like, I think you should just cut it off. And I said, no, get me over there, and I'll reach up. I'll get the tree branch. I'll break the tree branch off. We went over, and I got the lure back, and I was like, yeah, see? No problem. And he's like, well, the only problem is now we've been to the States. I didn't realize I was in Maine. So as soon as he said that, my phone went ba-ding, 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 and it was all these things. Welcome to the United States. It is mandatory that you quarantine for 14 days. And then as we were coming back, ba-ding, welcome to Canada. It is mandatory that you quarantine for 14 days. Your information has been shared with the government of Canada, and you will be contacted by a public health official.
Oh, how awkward.
I was like, oh. Well, I'm just going to tell them that I was fishing in the St. Croix, because I'm not going to quarantine for this. Anyway, because I touched a tree.
That's really bizarre.
Yeah. It was pretty. I didn't realize how aggressive the government of Canada would be, but they sent a really long text message about you will be contacted.
Well, I suppose though, like people would live on that border, and they would. How does
they must get those messages 30 times a day?
Yeah, like
as soon as you get picked up by whatever cell service,
a radio,
right?
yeah, a radio tower somewhere. That's bizarre. Good times.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else is new. There are a whole bunch of new scandals in Canada, in Canadian politics, but nothing that exciting. I mean, you've got to be pissed because you broke your fucking scapula. You probably can't ride your motorbike.
Can't ride my motorbikes, though. We did organize Father's Day weekend at that motocross park, the same one I went to the first time.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, yeah. I'm probably going to
maybe don't do the enduro mountain climb like you did last time.
No, I think I'll stick to the green trail.
So is the friend that you went with, has he talked to you since, or is he like, fuck that guy?
Yeah, no, he sends me. Oh, I'll forward you some of the things that he sends me. It's pretty. Actually, I'm going to send you one right now because I want the listeners to experience kind of how this. Okay, there you go.
It takes a while for the stuff to come through.
No, this one should be right there to you now, because it's just a link. So, he's like a what do you call it? Like a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
So, did you get that link? I sent it on Messenger.
Yeah, but it hasn't come through yet. That's what. Okay.
It's the one with the Babe Ruth explosion.
Okay, I've seen this explosion a few times. The footage they didn't want us to see. Oh God, that's really funny. You should post that on our One Foot in the Grave podcast Facebook page. Oh, there. Did you hear the notification?
Yes.
Yeah. You won't be camping for a while, though.
I'm going. That's what I was saying. I'm going in 3 weeks. We're going with them again.
How long does it take a scapula to heal? How do you even heal a scapula?
Well, I think because the muscles are pretty tight there that it just kind of reduces and keeps that fracture together anyway.
Fingers crossed.
I don't know. I'm going to the specialist on Monday.
Yeah.
But that's what I assume. Because it is improving. It's getting better.
Oh, that's good. You should take your bike out for a little ride. Just to,
yeah, I think a little tumble down a sandy hill onto rocks, boulders, and logs is really going to do it.
No, I mean, take the Harley. Take your Harley out for a ride.
I would love that. I really don't want to fuck it up though. Not my shoulder, my bike.
I went for a bicycle ride with Jack the other day, and I was like, "Okay, buddy, let's do this. We're gonna." It's really tough to get him out of the house to do that stuff. And I was like, "Yes, yeah. I got him convinced." So we went to the Qplex, and he kind of took off, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna show you how it's done. And I went to bike up this hill, and about a third of the way up the hill, I was convinced I was having a heart attack. And I was like, I can't get off right now because he's gonna think I'm a pussy. And I kept like pedaling, and like the gears were all the way low, and it was easier. It would have been easier pedaling it than walking, but I was still like so out of breath from the first little bit that I was just like tasting blood in my mouth. Have you ever had that where you're just like,
No.
You're sure your heart has exploded and now blood is shooting out of your lungs? Anyway.
But I do know that sensation of just being like the sweat is immediate.
Yeah.
it's profuse.
All I kept thinking about was you pushing your motorcycle up the hill, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to puke if I keep going. But I was like
but
trying
were you
to
sandwiched between two solid pieces of jet black, matte black.
No, I
plastic?
wasn't. It wasn't that bad. I still can't believe that was one of our funniest episodes. If you guys wanted to hear a really funny one, go back and listen to the last episode about Dan on the motorcycle.
It was a fucking disaster.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I was listening to some of our old episodes. Like, I actually listened to our first episode.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so different to what it is now. Like, we tried to have structure.
Well, we had Cryptid Corner, if you remember. I still liked that, but I ran out of cryptids.
Well, anyway, I'm going to add the remix of the new song of the song. Oh my gosh, we're going
the
to
jingle.
The jingle. I'm gonna drop the new jingle tonight, and feel free to send us whether you like it or not. One Foot in the Grave podcast at gmail.com. You can also find us at One Foot in the Grave podcast.weebly. That's WEEBLY.com, and that has all the links to social media and to the areas where you can listen. And that's it from me.
I'll try to add a little more structure for the next one. I'll actually prepare something that has something
I
to
think
do
you
with
need to go on the ghost tour again. Go to Mistress Fascinator and get her to do the St. John Ghost Tour.
I think I'd be lonely doing it without you because I know there's no fucking way Chrissy's going to do it.
No, maybe get... You know who would do it? Jill... I can't...
Your friend Jill.
Do I say it? No, yeah. Our friend Jill.
Oh, who listens to the podcast, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe she would.
Yeah.
Hit me up. Hit me up at that podcast email. I'm the only one who ever answers it. And
I do too. I answer it. I just mark them as unread if there's any medical questions in there.
Oh, I know. It's funny, and I love our listeners, but some of them have basically, I think it's a difficult time for everyone, and they're like, I know this guy has a medical background, I'm just going to use him as a doctor. It's close as I can come, and I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know how to fix it. But I'm like, best of luck. We'll keep you in our prayers.
for most of ours, for most of them, I'm like, well, I know what would happen if you were a dog, but you're not gonna like it.
I'm not a good doctor, so I'm more of a moron.
Yeah, we fit into we're a niche market of doctors where we don't know much and we're pretty stupid.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, weirdos. Talk to you later.
Yeah, we'll talk to you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.